Hello, YouTube. What's up?
The codes of self-esteem. It's the codes of who you are. Are you ready?
What's up, Primos? It is your girl, Jules, and happy Thursday. It is Primos Chidos. It is 12 p.m. Y'all know what that means. And of course, I am here with my two co hosts, Steve and Brandon. Say hi, you guys.
Hi, nice to meet you guys. As if it's the first time I meet you every time.
Hello.
All right. So, Stevie, what you got for us today?
Okay, guys. So as you guys know, we always have one thing that we each bring to the table every week. This week, I wanted to bring to light. Did you guys know that yesterday was the 1 year anniversary since the first COVID vaccine was administered in the United States?
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah. So it's been officially 1 year since basically the start of the end of the pandemic, right? Quote unquote. So I brought in some stats too. So the first stats is obviously, even though that was the first vaccine, now everybody's talking about the booster, like are you gonna get another booster? They did a poll saying like how many people are ready for the booster. About 69% of people said they would get it, but about 31 people said of people who are already vaccinated said they're not really thinking of getting a booster. So that's eye-opening. Also, if you're wondering, because I know a lot of people, I know I used to check back in the day, like what are the stats, like how many people are infected, how many people have died, like how many people are getting the vaccine. So as of right now, 202 million people have been fully vaccinated in the United States. That's about 76.6% of people have at least one dose in the United States. And then I also wanted to bring up that the the COVID numbers, the U.S. hit like what do I call it, benchmark? Like they hit a milestone. As of right now, the people who have died from COVID since the start of the pandemic is about 800K, which is crazy because last time I checked, it was 500K. So it's almost like doubled. Um, and then do you guys kept up with like COVID news? Like honestly,
No.
yeah, honestly, me neither. No, like being on some real shit. Um, uh, I haven't really kept up with it either because the minute the vaccine came out and I got my dose, it was not. I know I still had to do my part, wear my mask and like social distance and everything, all that shit. But like, it kind of like I felt like I was on the other side of things. Like I felt like as if there was a wall. I had done my part, gotten the vaccine, and now I was on the other wall, so I didn't have to worry about this type of shit. But one new advancement that's coming out, in terms of COVID relation, is the COVID pill. I'm sure you guys have heard probably a little bit. Early results have shown that it's 89% effective at preventing hospitalizations in people, and that it might be approved as early as like the next 2 weeks before the end of the year. So by the start of the next year, there might be a COVID pill that you could go to, like your
You can get prescribed.
yeah, you get prescribed and you take the pill, and then it lowers hospitalizations by 89%. And they said that it should work on any variant so far.
It's for when you're sick, right? It's not before.
I think I think it is for when you're sick. Yeah, so it doesn't replace vaccines. Like you should still go get your vaccine, but
That's
it's
good news.
89%.
That's
Yeah,
good news.
because that means, I mean, to me, when I found out that it's been 1 year since the first vaccine was administered in the United States, it kind of blew my mind. Only because 2020 was like a bad year, but now that the new year is coming, it's crazy that it's gonna be 1 year since 2020 happened. Like it's now pretty far back, but yet it still feels like it was. I mean 2020, the actual year, the full year. Yeah, so like let's say December 31st, 2020, it's about to be like 1 year since that happened. But I mean, for those of you guys who don't know, like a personal story, kind of a personal story, is that the three of us here, like we wanted the vaccine bad when it first came out. Like we were as
We were
What
vaccine
did they call?
chasers.
Oh yeah, we were
Yeah.
vaccine chasers.
yeah, we used that term that they used. That was us.
How many times did we go early? We went like 3 times.
We went
right?
three
Three,
times.
yeah.
Ugh.
And then we were finally like
The last time was the worst.
Yeah. Okay.
Nah.
So I'll tell the story because it. I mean, it's a little like it's not embarrassing. It's just like we were thirsty for that vaccine. So we woke up 3 times around like 3 in the morning, to go to one hospital in Inglewood that like apparently was giving out their leftover vaccines because people would miss their appointments, or like sometimes they just had more because they came in like like a set, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that. So we went on 3 different occasions, all at 3 in the morning, and we weren't the only ones there, believe it or not.
Mhm.
There was like a bunch of people. The line was like a block long. Like people were waiting there because they wanted to get the vaccine. And the last time, this particular time, we had waited the longest. We had waited from like
We got up at 3. Like I showed up at your house at like 3, and we got there like at 4, and we were the first ones there.
Mhm.
When we stayed there until like closing, which was like what, like 5?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And they told us like
to get lost basically.
yeah, they told us to get lost because
We were
they
too
did
young.
have leftovers, but they wanted to prioritize anybody who was in line, who was older, had like a history, and we were mad, but fuck, were we tired? We were like, whatever, let's just go home, take this out.
I was still mad, bro. I was like, y'all really discriminating us on our age right now? Because like the first guy, how he was talking to us and like how he was just like dismissing us, it was just like, bro, like I'm like, I just wanna, I don't wanna be in the fear anymore of like this. Like I get it, right? I get the priorities and everything, but I was like, but we've been waiting for here. And I was like, and last time you guys did this, y'all let anyone get it.
Mhm.
And I was like, why is it that when we're finally here, you guys don't let us?
Mhm.
So I remember that's what got me pissed off, because I was like, the first time when we went, they let us. They didn't ask us.
Yeah.
They weren't like, how old are you guys?
Yeah.
They didn't ask us the first time when we went there.
Yeah, the first
So that's
time we
why-
just didn't meet we just
Yeah,
got cut
we were
off.
legit like there.
It was we got the first time we went like at 2 or something, right?
Yeah,
In
like
the
2 p.m.
afternoon.
Yeah.
And the line was long, but I remember people were saying like they had like 100 left the last time, and we were like 103 or something.
Yeah.
We weren't that far off, and
Yeah.
it literally cut off like 5 people before us,
Mhm.
and they were like, "Oh, just come back earlier, like you can get it." And then we came back earlier. And what was the second time? The problem the
They
second time?
they didn't.
Oh, the second time they were just closed.
Oh yeah.
We were there early and we were waiting, and they were like, "Oh, they decided to like not be open."
They
today."
decided to go somewhere else.
Yeah, they went to like,
Oh,
They went to a different. They went to a
Yeah.
different clinic.
and so we were like, "Bruh." And so the third time we like made sure like they're gonna be there.
We're the
gonna
first
get
in
the
line.
first in line, and
And we
there's
were,
gonna
and
and we
then-
were, and essentially they came out and they were like, "Yeah, nah, like you guys are too young."
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh."
It sucked too because I felt like the word spread, because that first initial time when we went at 2 p.m. and the
Yeah.
line, it was long, but we weren't like that. It wasn't that long. But by the third time, it was like around the corner. Like people had heard, the word had spread because they did give it to anybody. I remember distinctly like these like 18-year-old girls that were like in front of us got it the first day. And I remember
And that's why I was mad that last time, because I was like, bro, like why? Like why is it that now our age is like the problem? So I was just like, that's what made me mad. And I was
well,
like,
I think it was that the word spread, and because of that, like people who were older, like because you saw people who, I think the limit was what, like 50 or 60. So there was people who were like 45 and stuff who were there.
but I
waiting in
mean,
line.
I don't know. I was like, well, because last time they would ask people. I mean, and I get it. Remember, we were still first, but I was like, I know they're still probably gonna ask like people in line like what like their ages, right? Remember, because that's the first time we went, they
Uh-huh.
kept asking like, all right, who has like an illness or like or
Mhm.
something, and then it's like, okay, then whoever's first in line,
Mhm.
and then I was like, okay, I was like, but anyways, that was in the past. We're here now. We're
I
here
mean,
now.
No, I mean it's important to talk about because it just showed how desperate we were to leave like the pandemic, and like now that it's been a year, to me it feels as if it was just like 2 months ago. I don't know if you guys feel that
No,
way.
yeah. 2020, like the year, does not feel like the start of 2020. Like January 1st, 2020, does not feel like 2 years ago, which is weird to me. Like I don't know, it just doesn't feel that long ago. I guess because it's repetitive, right?
Mhm.
We've been in the same place for so long, but yeah, but like it's also been like, damn, a lot's happened since then, though. You know?
Well, I thought about bringing it up because
Mhm.
I mean, if you guys noticed, that's what I named the episode after today, because a lot of people didn't really bring it up. I mean, I've been off social media for this week,
Mhm.
so I'm not really sure if it's
Oh,
like if people are talking about it.
Yeah, if anyone's trying to get a hold of us, we're off social media because of Spider-Man.
Well, they're
spoilers.
personal.
Yeah, personal. Though more on that later. Anyway.
But what was I gonna say?
Oh wait, just really
Um,
quickly, thank you to our wonderful bosses who
Oh
got us
yeah.
curtains.
The studio looks different today.
Yeah.
For those of you who watch us on YouTube and not through the app, you guys. Well, first of all, get the app. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But second of all, yeah, we have curtains now, guys.
Yeah.
We feel so cozy
moving
in
on
here.
up. Moving on up.
Now the lighting on our YouTube is like nicer.
Yeah, now
we're fixing it, even if we look a little dark still.
Yeah.
It's because the curtain threw us off, but we're thankful. We're
Next-
thankful we don't have the sun coming in anymore.
next thing we need is the TGN X Gucci collab. And we gotta
Bruh.
Gucci.
Yeah, we gotta come in here wearing like
I feel
Gucci
like we
clothing.
skipped a few steps.
Oh wait, do we get the Primos Chidos collab first?
we have to do like no name
food?
brands first. We have to get like
We
Okay.
come in like shitty ass clothes.
Hey, whoever
no,
wa-
no offense.
Hey, whoever, bruh,
No,
I can't
wait,
believe we
wait.
said that.
edit that. We can edit,
Edit that
We
out.
can
We're gonna edit that out.
Hey, whoever wants to collab with us though, hit us up on,
Yeah.
on
We're-
Instagram.
If anyone wants to collab, hit us up on Instagram. You want us to shout you out on the live. Just remember, our rule is that whatever you're paying us has to be divisible by 3. Can't be $2. Has to be $3.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I feel like I don't know. I feel like because I'm thinking about like the whole anniversary thing, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like people did remember when COVID first started, and I
Mhm.
remember like there was a whole anniversary thing for it.
Mhm.
But I think for the booster, it was just like I think people just forgot. They're like, and they're living their
I
lives.
feel
now.
like there was.
What do you
there's a
mean? What do you mean exactly though? I don't understand what you mean.
Like you remember when it was kind of like the year anniversary of when the first person caught
Uh-huh.
COVID. I remember seeing that on social media. I mean,
Mhm.
I haven't been on it either that much, but I remember seeing when people were talking about the year anniversary of COVID and when it first started.
Uh-huh.
But for the vaccine, I haven't really seen anything for it.
Oh, I feel you.
I think.
Well,
I-
you know what? It's probably because like the quote unquote controversy of the
Oh, yeah,
vaccine.
that's what I was gonna say. I feel like this one's a little more controversial, right?
like,
just me, like-
celebrating like the 1 year anniversary of when the first vaccine doses.
Like the booster. I thought we were talking about the booster.
No,
No,
we're
the
talking about
vaccine,
the
the
vaccine.
initial- yeah.
Oh.
And she said booster, but she meant vaccine, the initial vaccine.
Well, just to add on to that, I guess I thought nobody was really getting the booster because it's a little more. People are like, you know what I mean? People are a little more apprehensive about it.
Well, I mean, not to like put any of my sister's friends like personal things
blast?
on blast, but like the fact that we know somebody personally who caught COVID, like
A lot of
recently.
people have been catching COVID still.
Who is it? That guy? I think he's in the NBA. I think he's on like the Bulls or the Timberwolves.
Like most of the Bulls caught COVID.
But there's one guy who I forget his name. This would be a question for Courtside Radio, hosted by Michael the Plug. Shout out to Michael.
I love how you did that.
Shout out to Michael because he gave us some really nice words. So
Yeah.
make sure you check him out. But anyways,
Much love, man. Much love.
anyways, I forget.
Love that was great.
He
That
was
smooth.
he was double vaccinated. We got both of them,
Yeah.
and he had just gotten the booster, and he still caught COVID.
Really?
Yeah, I forgot what it was like. I forgot who it was. I don't know.
You know, early studies have shown this is one of the things that I found in my research about the like just updates on the COVID pandemic. Because honestly, like I told you, I really haven't been. I don't know when was the last time you guys looked into like the COVID pandemic. But yesterday I just deep dived because I was like, fuck it. I used to be obsessed with this shit. Like I had like every morning I would just look up and like read stuff about COVID. So I did that yesterday. And the early studies show that like most people who have gotten like their initial vaccine and have gotten infected previously should be fine against like the Omicron and like Delta and like all that stuff. There's like a it hasn't been peer reviewed, but there's a study that shows that like for the most part it's still highly effective like against it.
Where are you? Not to gotcha journalism or whatever. I remember I asked you guys where you kind of stood on. You know how some people are like, "Fuck your freedoms," like everybody should get it,
Yeah.
and then there's the other people who are like, because I feel okay. Well, never mind. What was I gonna say? You know how there's the people who are like, "Fuck your freedoms," you got to get it, and then there's some people who are like, "I support the vaccine, like you should get it, but it's still your choice." Like, what do you think about that?
So we've come a long way. We talked about this definitely on the first episode of Primos Chidos. So it's been about 26 weeks. And I think my perspective has changed. Julia, I don't know if you agree with this, but I honestly, like this might be a hot take, but yeah, I think it is your.
Play the sound. Play the sound.
Too hot for TV.
I think it is. I honestly do think it is your choice, man. Like I do think that you shouldn't be forced to have the vaccine if you don't want to. And it's to me, it's we recently Brandon sent me a
Yeah, I
video
was gonna say. I was
of
gonna
in the
say.
80s when they first put laws that you have to wear your seatbelt. There's literally like videos of senators who are like, well, are we Big Brother in 1984? Like telling people that they should be wearing their seatbelts. And like now it's so stupid because it's like obviously it's illegal.
Mhm.
Like you're gonna kill yourself. You're gonna kill like people who are in the car with you. It's like extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
But like something about the vaccine, the fact that it goes into your body and it is new, to me, it's like if you don't want to take it, like I guess don't take it, bro. Like fuck it. Like if you want to get COVID and get like way more sick, that's on you.
I feel like
Like
it yeah, I kind of agree. It's more people's choice. But it's kind of like if you're not gonna get the vaccine, you gotta wear a mask, bro. Like wear a
Mhm.
mask. But like, most of the time, people who are like, nah, fuck the vaccine, are also fuck the mask.
Julie,
But
Um, about like people getting the vaccine.
yeah. Like, do you think that?
do you think it's okay to mandate it, or do you
Yeah.
think it's more people's
Um,
choice?
I feel like it is more people's choice, honestly. I think we did talk about this. I
Yeah.
don't know if my answer was the same thing, but I mean, my answer now it's like it's your choice. I'm like, you're the one who's kind of putting yourself on at like I guess in jeopardy of that way of like catching it or like even your family members or whatever. But I mean, it's still your choice. Like I'm not to like make you feel bad about it, but it's just like it's your choice and it's whatever you want to do with your body. Um, but I feel like at the same time like in the, even the other way around, like not judging people for getting it, you know.
Mhm.
Like just let people do their own choices, what they want to do, however they want to protect themselves, whether they want to believe that it works or it doesn't. Because I know that there's also those other people who do get affected by just vaccines in general. Like people have just allergic reactions who can't get it. Um, so like it's understandable for those who can't get it and all that. So that's why I'm like, it's your choice whether you can, because there's people who can't, you know.
Oh, ladies' night commented. She said, as someone who had COVID last year and recently got it again now, having the vaccine, I don't have my
Having the
glasses.
vaccine
Having
is
is
a
a
big
big difference of
difference.
what I'm feeling. But I do believe I know my body and I know I needed the vaccine. But I still think everyone should have a choice.
Fair,
Yeah.
fair,
No, yeah,
definitely
that's
fair.
fair. I
Well,
100% agree.
I hope you get better soon.
Ladies' night.
Ladies'
Yeah,
night.
ladies night YouTube. I hope you do get better. That's insane that you got it recently, but I'm glad it sounds like it's not as bad as last time.
Mhm.
Um,
Check out that show. Great show, by the way.
oh yeah, shout out. I was gonna say, well, because you know how Biden's been trying to get the vaccine and like mandated
Uh-huh.
in the country. For the most part, it's been like shot down. Like it seems as though it's most likely not gonna happen.
I feel like, you know what mandate I think it. Oh, she said, "Thanks, it's Jackie." Well, there are two hosts, right? So
um
sometimes.
no, you know what else I was gonna bring up, because I know specifically for you guys, 2020 was a big year for at least me researching heavy into the COVID vaccine, but also getting really into politics. And so since I was going into like vaccines last night, I also started just like going more into like our how the state of our government was, because last time I checked up on them, right, even though you should always be informed, last time I really deep dived into it was when the riots happened around January of this year. um and I sent you a video that I thought was mind blowing. It's basically like one of our senators going on like an hour rant, like in front of Congress, saying how the U.S. is, at least in terms of its government. Well, I mean, then that means like if our government is shit, that means like our country's kind of shit.
Mhm.
He was basically saying that like he doesn't get why it's this petty war now between like both sides. Like it doesn't seem like they actually want to work together. It seems like one side is so intent at just like making the other side pissed off.
Mhm.
And he also talked about like statistically, like factually, some of the problems that we're having right now is that we're coming up with plans, like you know how we do spending and like stuff like that. He was saying that a lot of the our spending budget is like unrealistic. Like we don't have this money. Like we lost so much money during the pandemic, and the fact that we're putting like so much money into things that like for the most part aren't benefiting our country. It's more of just like a politic, like
Didn't they just pass like a 700 billion defense
yeah.
bill? Yeah.
And the senator, he was saying like where do people think this money's gonna come from? Like I know like we all want to be like, because he talked about how Biden wants to get rid of college debt, and he was saying like obviously in theory like that sounds cool, like it sounds really nice, but he's saying like who's gonna pay for it? Like where is all this money, imaginary money coming from?
Mhm.
He's like, I know everybody like wants to just kind of think that we can like just keep printing money and keep printing money. And he's like, but there's gonna be a consequence. There's gonna be some. We can pretend like it doesn't exist, but one day it's gonna come back and bite us like
Mhm.
really hard. And he was saying that the fact that nobody is even here to listen to me talk just shows you what kind of shit show we're in. Because if you look around where he's talking, it's where obviously like where
The
the
house.
yeah, the house, and nobody's there. Like nobody's there. And he said like I don't know if it's because like the vaccine, the COVID, like people don't want to come to work. But like the fact that nobody's here, nobody's listening to us, and for all the people watching at home, all 7 of you, like nobody cares. Nobody's paying attention to like the fact that our economy is like doing terribly, the fact that our dollar
Yeah.
is like losing its value, the fact that we're like inflation. I mean, I don't know if I brought it up on the show. I know I told my cousin, but it last year. This is such a funny like example, but last year the pizza triple box from Pizza Hut was $20. This year it's 24. There was an increase of $4 just on that. Like
Well, the $5 pizza
From
that should have been the red
Caesars.
flag. Yeah,
Little Caesars.
it's not $5 anymore. It's
It's
$6.
$6.
And remember, Dollar Tree isn't gonna be Dollar Tree anymore. It's gonna be I think $1.50 now.
Yeah. That's.
Oh,
Have you
yeah,
seen that
really.
video of Elon Musk talking about it?
No, what'd he say?
I think it's recent. They're doing an interview and he's talking about I think he's talking about the bill or he says something along the lines of like we can't keep spending like this. Something really bad's gonna happen. Like he says that.
Oh yeah, I've seen the video.
And I'm like, as much as people don't like that guy, like it or not, that guy knows money because he's the richest guy on the planet. So that's not a good sign.
Well, one of me and my sister have a cousin who's really into NFTs and like he's kind of moving more into the digital currency world. And he said that it was like a good idea to invest in digital currency like Bitcoin and like all that type of like crypto stuff because yeah, our dollar is massively
It's
like
tanking.
yeah, like the American dollar is going down, and it looks as if like things really are moving more into the digital side, like NFT, fucking Zuckerberg's metaverse. Like it seems as though it would be a smart idea to invest into cryptocurrency, but I mean, nobody can tell the future. That's just like what it seems like right now. Obviously, anything can happen between now and then, but I mean, it's a scary thought. I mean, the fact that like paper money can become like worthless like that.
Everything should just be free, bro.
You should go back to trading.
Everything should just be free. Fuck all that money, bro.
You see, but like that's literally what the senator was saying. Like people keep saying and having that mentality, but like, what realistically, like, how can we do that? I mean, I don't say I agree with him, and I'm not saying like,
Mhm.
and I obviously am not fully educated in everything that he's saying, but like,
Wait, are you saying like everything should be free or
no, he was saying he specifically like really honed in on the college debt like erasure thing.
Mhm.
He brought up an example of like his parents. His parents went to school and became lawyers, and they're still in debt like
Mhm.
about it.
yeah, yeah.
And he was saying like, yeah, obviously it would be great, like get rid of all that debt, like won't have to pay for it. But he was saying like they were adults and they made a choice. They knew that they were gonna choose to go to this school, and they knew that they were gonna be in debt because of it.
Mhm.
They made that choice, and he was saying that like the societal impact and also the financial impact it'll have if the government is just like, nah, you know what, don't worry about that bullshit, like just get rid of all of it.
Mhm.
He was saying that it'll begin to crack, like it's not sustainable. It's something that realistically like you can't have because well, obviously the money needs to come from somewhere. He was saying like the big problem is why is college so expensive?
Yeah.
Like why has, I think he said, I forgot what he said. He
So
gave like a
basically-
percentage.
So basically, like we're attacking the wrong thing.
Yeah, he basically the point of his hour-long rant
Mhm.
is that we're choosing to focus on things that don't matter and ignoring the things that do.
Mhm.
Like because to him he hates the fact that like the right and the left in terms of government, like the
Yeah.
Democratic and the Republican,
Mhm.
he hates that it's become something where it's not
just a war.
it's not of like, let's come together, let's talk about these bills, let's see, okay, we have this much budget, let's realistically see where we're falling. He said that it's not about that. He said that it's all about the ideology of like even if something sounds like it's what'll benefit the country, if it's a conservative idea, especially now during like the Biden
Yeah.
administration, they're gonna be like, no, fuck no,
Yeah.
like that's a conservative idea. And it's not because it'll benefit the country. It's just because it doesn't fall in line with
It's
the
not where we
parties.
are.
Yeah. And he's saying that that's bullshit. Like, it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
And it seems like common sense.
Do
It's
you
obviously
do you
not.
think we need term limits, bro, in Congress?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, it's cause also because like you vote for the people that are in there, no? Like you vote for the people who are like speaking and giving these ideas.
I think you
and-
do, but I think I think they can be there as long as they want. Like there's no limit, right? There's no term
Really?
limit on Congress.
I think they still, yeah. I
They
think
still
so.
have to campaign, but there's no term limit. Like,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Not like the
Mm.
not like the presidency.
Well, the president can only have 2 terms.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a limit. Because hasn't Mitch McConnell been there for like
Yeah.
50 years?
Something
Yeah,
like
he
that.
has. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Nancy Pelosi was there has been
Yeah.
there for a minute now.
Yeah.
She was there with. Well, I mean, she wasn't in like a position of power when she was with JFK, but she was like with JFK though.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's about the end of my
A
segment.
whole ass rant.
Yeah, I learned a lot by just
Now-
looking up what's going on with COVID.
Now I'm kind of like, because you say that, I was kind of like, then what is the real issue, and who do we talk to about these
The real issue is that
You
the
gotta vote.
pandemic fucked us up, and we're just being crybabies about it. That like we refuse to believe that like the pandemic really fucked us up that bad. At least that's what I think. My perspective.
Mhm.
My perspective is that a lot of people want to like assume and forget about COVID and still not realize that like we're deep in like a depression right now.
Mhm.
Patty with the fatty, sorry. Congressmen work more on trying to stay in their seat than actually stuff they stay to work on.
That's true. Spitting some fucking facts, Patty with a fatty.
Good job.
Shout out to you.
Good job, Patty.
It's true.
See, it is Patty was fatty, not the fatty.
Patty with fatty.
I guess I see what I want to see. But go ahead,
but
Julie.
yeah.
I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
Cutting 6 minutes into my
All
segment.
right, what you got?
My
What you
bad.
got,
I'm just
bud?
kidding. I'm just kidding. We can go 6 minutes over. So like, so like how I always start with some kind words to maybe help somebody out there. I thought I'd get a woman in here, show some gender equality. This comes from Jane Goodall, the primatologist, famous You might probably know her, right? She's the old lady who always has the chimps. She says we have the choice to use the gift of our life to make the world a better place or not to bother. So do with that what you will. So I recently had finals, and I think I turned in what is probably the last essay I'll ever write in college, which is thank God. Thank you. But what I wrote about it was for it's a class called about classic cinema, and I asked you about for the paper, right?
La Bamba?
It was about La Bamba. I wrote about like allegories in film. It was just that, and I thought until I read that, I had never
Seen the association.
seen the association. I thought that was really like just reading it and writing about it. I just found it really interesting. Like what a masterclass in symbolism in film. Because wow. Yeah, I just want to talk about it.
For context, what he's talking about is, for those of you who haven't seen La Bamba, it seems like a pretty straightforward movie. I mean, I think it's really good. Like just like objectively, I think it's a really well made movie. The acting's a little weird at points, but for the most part, I think it's a movie that is really immersive. Anyways, there was a book called Brown in Movies, which talked about like Chicano cinema in movies, and it talked about La Bamba, and I talked about how the movie's a lot deeper than you think. So this is mainly for you guys who have seen that movie. If you guys haven't seen it, go out and watch it. But
it's on
Spoiler.
HBO Max,
No.
by the way.
Spoiler.
It's kind of a spoilers, but it basically talked about how like a lot of the story that was happening in the movie is based off of like old Mayan like Neo-Aztec like stories,
Philosophy,
Yeah.
and stories, yeah, and it's really good. I was doing a little more research because he only had like screenshots of it, so I had to fill in
because you have to buy the
gaps.
book.
Yeah, I had to fill in the gaps a little bit, which is fine. It was talking about how so if you don't know the real story, it's obviously based on a true story. It's the story of Richie Valens, who tragically died in a plane crash. I think he was 17, right? when
Yeah, he was
died?
17.
And the movie just kind of shows his life before that, ultimately ending in that. And the book kind of talks about how the relationship between Richie Valens and Bob Morales, which is his half brother, is like a mirror of Quetzalcoatl. And do you know the name of the other god? That's
I can't pronounce it. I never can pronounce
I
the
can't
name.
pronounce it either.
Tenochtitlan?
I
No?
think so. I think it's the Panther god, right?
I'm not
Oh,
really
no,
sure.
never mind.
I'm not really sure.
Well, in the book, it goes into say that on the Aztec sun calendar, Quetzalcoatl and this god are facing each other, and it's kind of talking about how Richie and Bob are kind of mirrors of that. And I had don't quote me on it because I don't know if it's I'm obviously not well versed in it, but I was googling it a little bit more just to learn about those gods, and it was talking about how that god Deno, I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
He was like in the story he's hell bent on dethroning or chasing out Quetzalcoatl, and after that happens, Quetzalcoatl releases like a great wind that devastates the world, and in the movie, Bob and Richie have a fight, and Richie rips off and right after that, there's a great wind of like
hmm
a snowstorm, and that's obviously what does him in because it it fucks with their flight. I just thought that was I had never noticed that, and I thought that was really cool. Well, not cool, but you know what I mean.
No, yeah, it is really cool because I think when, especially to us, it hits close to home because we obviously want to be filmmakers and directors. And to me, the older I get, the more I start to realize what I really want to represent in movies. And I do really want to represent that like Chicano, like Mayan history because I never grew up knowing of my own people's history and I never grew up knowing about like where we come from. I just like we're Mexican and then that's what we
Yeah.
are. Um and to me it's a way I connect back to my people and my ancestors. It's a way that I help myself like kind of get like a feeling of who I am. And to hear La Bamba has like those deep connections makes me happy even though it's a sad story
Yeah.
um just because I feel as though I'm kind of connecting with like old because I'm assuming those stories are what like hundreds of years old.
Thousands, bro.
Yeah, like to me it makes me feel as though like there's something there, like there's something like I'm connecting with myself, I'm connecting with my history, and like it feels like home. I don't know. It's blowing my mind right now. It's kind of making me at a loss for words. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Um, well, I think La Bamba's. I feel like La Bamba's underrated as if you look at it through that lens. Like it's very like a lot of people quote it as one of like the essential Chicano films.
Mhm.
And
I know
it's-
the music just
and
changed.
it's like, Richie Valens, the tragedy.
Yeah.
man.
But what I was saying is, it's a quintessential like Chicano film, right? But I
Yeah.
feel like it doesn't get appreciation in representing like the underlying culture. Because right, what is it? Being Mexican's a nationality, not a race,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And I think
Well, and in La Bamba, that's what I really like about
Yeah.
it is that like it is like a movie that's about like Mexicans,
Mhm.
but it's not about like Mexico and it's not about the nationality of Mexicans. It is more of a Chicano film. It's about a
Mhm.
Mexican American living in Los Angeles, and also I really fuck with the way it represents LA.
Mhm.
Like it does it in the old classic way of when it was just fields. So
Mhm.
you kind of you do a really good job of being immersed in the movie.
Yeah, and I think I really like it because whenever I watch it or the times I have watched it, my dad will always say that that's how it actually was. Like that's one of the few movies that actually gets it right of what LA used to look like. Because if you didn't know, LA used to be just fields before it got gentrified.
Before it got gentrified.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's weird? I talk about
Or is
fate.
that not gentrification? I don't know.
It depends. It
Yeah.
depends. Well, gentrification, they're literally building a city on top of what used to be
Yeah.
here.
Mhm. But go on.
I was gonna say, it's one of those things that me and Brandon always talk about, like Native Americans, and because Aztecs, I mean, Mayans are Native Americans.
Yeah.
And I always talk about how it feels like fate sometimes when I think about like the eradication and the erasure of Native American history. And like, I know I sound like a broken record because I always talk about this shit,
Mhm.
but like, you talked to me about how, and another hot take, for those of you who can't handle it, but
Play out.
I don't know if I could say something about your dad that you told me about Cesar Chavez. Can I say that?
Just be a little careful.
Okay.
'cause I don't.
I just like Brandon had told me that his dad he was around when Cesar Chavez was around, and that he wasn't a fan of Cesar Chavez. I won't explain it because I know I'm not educated why, but he basically said that one of the things that sucked is that once the kind of like the workers' rights that came from Cesar Chavez hit like not gardeners, hit farmers, right? Like
Field workers,
field
essentially.
workers, yeah,
Yeah.
field workers. That it was like harder to make money, and because of that, it kind of like the middle class of Chicanos, of Mexican Americans who were coming up like in the '60s, it started to shrink because like they couldn't come over here and like you get paid by how much you're able. So like all the Mexicans would bring their families, and that's like that stereotype of like big Mexican families. Because like the more hands you have, the more money you'll make, and you can make some fucking bank. But obviously it came with like dangers and mistreatment. And to me, I just thought about how like it sucks that every avenue you could take to succeed in the United States as like a Mexican American at that time was starting to close, and the original history of the culture of like Los Angeles, where it was mainly minorities who lived here, it started to fade away because as you guys know that you learn in school, white flight, about how the cities were overrun by minorities, so white people were like, let's go to the suburbs, let's chill over there. But it feels like in 2021 the opposite is happening. I feel like um it's mainly like white folk and rich folk who are coming back into the city, and then obviously the minorities are forced being
Yeah.
kicked out, and it makes me think how we built the culture of Los Angeles. We built what Los Angeles eventually became, and even though we built that foundation, and this is gonna be, I really don't want to sound like racist or anything. Like the whites came back in the same way how when colonizers came from like Europe to here to the
Well, that's
Americas,
another thing about. Oh,
there
sorry
was
to cut you off.
there was something already here,
Yeah.
and it feels like the modern day erasure
Well,
of like Native Americans.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you because I feel like that's where gentrification is like it comes from. Like that's where we all see it from. Where it's like now they're trying to kick us out. Like now we've been here for so long, and you guys basically hated it essentially. But now that like it's getting like a little nicer, right? Like now you guys want to come in and kick the rest of us out.
I feel like, well, I wanted to talk a little bit about La Bamba again because I feel like it touches on that too because it
But,
talks about. Oh, go ahead.
But I first wanted to shout out in the chat. La Bamba 808 says love that movie. Yes. And then they said, I have a question for y'all from your fans. What shoe size are y'all, and do y'all check your DMs often? We do. We each
Wow.
we each get notifications.
First sponsor, possibly.
Yeah, keep reading.
And then La Bamba 808 said, I agree with you. OMG. I felt that way about the movie too. Whoever said you get what I mean, it's another level of identity connection to a film.
Wow.
Wow.
And then they also said, hey, you're not a broken record. We love hearing it.
I'm-
Thank
Wow.
you.
Thank you, thank you. Wow.
Oh my God, Alabama 808. Yeah, messages on IG. We'll
I'm
keep
10
talking.
and, I'm 10.5 on shoes, by the way.
We'll keep talking on IG.
but-
Thank you so much for your kind words and
Yeah,
like
I really
great,
appreciate it.
And then
great discourse.
And then Patty with Fatty on the YouTube live chat said there's this hall in the National History Museum that talks about the before and after LA. Going through the hall, I was upset because of all the missions and manifest destiny.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like some people just don't get it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I feel like Labama goes into like how because he was talking to it was talking about how the director Luis Valdez he sets up like the cyclical nature of things, right? Like how Richie constantly has these dreams, right?
Mhm.
And it's kind of implying like it's fate and
Yeah.
it's like a circle. And like how you're talking about how it feels like recolonization.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It does feel like I feel like it touches on that, like how it feels like it's happening again because well, like my dad lived that life and I love hearing stories about it because and I love watching that movie because I have a picture to it now, what it looks like. And I don't know. I just kind of get it now. The older I get, I kind of
Well,
get it.
because
More.
it pisses me off because I talk to a lot of people, and like a lot of the times they're out of towners, or like I see somebody on Twitter tweet like
Mhm.
like oh they're going to school in UCLA or whatever, so they're not from here, and they're like changing my mind about LA. Like LA's such a shitty place, or Casey Frey, people who aren't from here.
Casey
They're all-
Neistat. Casey Neistat.
Oh yeah, not
Casey
Casey
Frey's
Frey.
the hilarious guy.
No, never mind. Casey Frey is the funny guy. Yeah, my bad. Casey Neistat are like talking shit. Like all these people, Joe Rogan, everybody always talking shit about LA, about how like people there are so fake. People there are like they only want something out of you, and to me,
They just want fame.
no, but to me it pisses me off because that's like
That's not LA.
that's out of towner shit.
Yeah.
That's like what people who come from like some other place trying to make it big here are. But like people don't look under the surface. Like if gentrification was kind of like this like sheet that's like over Los Angeles, if you lift it and look under it, there's a lot of deep cultures that like how Patty with the Fatty said, go back far, like hundreds of years, maybe even okay, maybe I don't know about 100, but 100 years, since Los Angeles has been around. And it's like, and to me, it hurts me because a lot of that history is Chicano history.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
No.
you see it everywhere. You see it in Boyle Heights. You see it in East LA. Like the main people are like a lot of like Chicanos and all that, and like the history is there. And like you see when people have what is the events like the low rider events, like people still have those. Or like by the Union Station, there's like La Placita Olvera, like there's like a whole bunch of
Yes.
cultures there, like
yes.
and people slowly forget those that they're there, because they're busy just seeing everything else that they see on TV.
Yeah, especially because people who come from outside of LA, they visit all the like gentrifier spots, and to me, it really does feel as though that's just like a sheet that's like covering something that's underneath it. But one place that doesn't have that sheet is like East Side and Northeast, like
Mhm.
Los Angeles. It's still
Yeah.
very much like a minority mix of
Yeah.
cultures, like and sometimes we do it to ourselves, and that pisses me off too. Like in my neighborhood, there's like Aztec paintings and drawings like all over the place, but yet there's graffiti on
Yeah.
them, and people like draw over them, and it pisses me off because it's literally erasure. It's literally
Yeah.
just erasing what was there.
Yeah.
And they want to say like, oh, it's the same thing as Connors. Gentrifiers when it comes in, it's like I can't believe you guys are getting mad because places are getting like prettier and cleaner. And it's like it's not even about that.
It's
the reason
more the
why
culture,
the reason why things even get like uglier and dirtier and there's
Mhm.
garbage is because people can't afford to live there anymore.
Yeah.
It's not because that's just the nature of the people who live there. I don't
Go
know.
off, King. Go off.
I
King.
don't know, bro.
No, go off.
I don't
go
know,
off.
bro. I don't know.
But yeah, like I don't know. I really enjoy that film because what's funny about the essay is I was kind of expecting that to be like how sometimes you
Just
have
a
examples.
paragraph.
Yeah.
It ended up being like the whole. It ended up being like the whole essay because it was just like whoa, I never saw that. Like reading it. But talking about how like we want to get into film. I've talked to Steve about how, like I want to do a movie that shows the Native American culture. But I won't get into it because you have to go see that in theater. But
This
Coming
is
soon.
the
Coming
preview.
soon.
The preview.
trust me, Patrick says, "Trust me." Patty with Fatty says, "Trust me." Going to the museum after smoking the move. I don't know why, but it
It
is-
opened my mind more.
I need my glasses. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Museum because it has dinosaurs.
You know what? I've
never
been
been.
I've been wanting
I've never
to
been,
go
bro?
to. No, I've been there. That one. I've been there.
Let's
I
go.
don't
I
know.
don't think
if
I've
I'm-
ever been.
Yeah, dude.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go right now. Let's leave halfway through the show.
Let's go.
Dude, I was literally about to say like I've been trying to go to more art museums
Let's
and
go
more
next
museums
week.
in general.
Let's go next week.
I'm down. No, yeah. I'm
We
down.
could take the train. I took the train there once.
You're invited, Julie. You're invited.
yeah,
Don't worry.
yeah.
I know you're over there sitting.
They always make plans without me. That's why.
Well, I just assume that inviting him means inviting you. So
We live in the same house, Julie.
I don't know.
Anyways, this is a good segue into your segment, Julie.
yeah, I feel like you should talk about
Okay.
because I
Anyways.
feel like it fits.
That's funny. Well, because it's interesting because you were talking about what's his name, Richie Valens,
Richie Valens.
and how he passed, and a lot of people have been passing away these past few days. Yesterday, I don't know if you guys heard. Well, no, you guys haven't been on social media, but yesterday someone passed away. I think he was a producer. It's called Flola movie. He also passed away on a plane crash.
Really?
And he was
Really?
38, and he passed away with his partner, and he also and his children were in the plane too.
What?
So they all passed away. I think he was leaving. Let me see. Let me just look it up.
Someone, hey, Lavama 808 says invite Julie or slander will be in the comments. We love Jalissa.
I like the little emoji.
Love it.
We love Jalissa.
Thank you.
I,
Thank
s-
you.
I said you're invited, Julie.
I guess it's because it's like one v two.
It's because my sister just works. My sister works like every other day.
I would just be working too much.
So it's not-
We'll go after you. We'll go after you quit, like officially.
Okay.
Just let everybody know on the air. My sister's quitting her job.
My fault.
More
I
time
thought-
for
I thought you
more
said-
time for Primos Chidos activities.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry. I'm sorry to whoever's listening. If y'all are my coworkers, I'm sorry I haven't told y'all. It just barely happened.
Oh,
You just-
my fault.
You outed her
You-
alive.
I
You
thought she was
exposed
excited
me.
about it.
I am, but nobody knows yet.
Oh, I didn't know. All right, redacted. You didn't hear that.
That's another thing we're gonna edit. This show is just gonna be edited. This specific
It's like-
episode.
We're just gonna delete it. No, I'm kidding.
That'll be two. That'll be two.
Bro.
Mm.
Anyways, yeah, go,
don't
go
we
ahead.
Don't,
No,
we,
no,
don't,
no.
we don't talk about that anymore.
go ahead, Julie.
but yeah, it was. I think they said it was 9 people who died in the plane crash.
Where?
It said crashed in the Dominican Republic. I think they were leaving. Either they were leaving or they were coming to Miami. But yeah, it crashed and yeah, he was like he was the big he like helped film like Te Boté by Bad Bunny.
Oh, really?
And
How old was he?
He was 38.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So he produced the global hit Te Boté, which featured Bad Bunny, Nicki Jam, and Ozuna. And yeah, he was like very well known, of course, in like the community. So a lot of them like gave him, the
Damn.
condolences. And I was like, damn, bro, another plane crash.
My condolences to the family.
Yeah.
It sounds tragic.
Yeah.
Another plane crash? What do you mean?
Like like Richie
Oh, Richie Valens,
Oh.
Jenny
Jenny
Rivera.
Rivera. Who
Damn,
else?
bro. I guess
Oh,
us as Mexicans, we should not go on planes, bro.
Unless you have the necklace, right?
Oh yeah, unless Julie, make me a necklace since you're my sibling, like in La Bamba,
Okay.
and like bless it, and then I better hope I never forget it.
Don't ever rip it off. in
Bro, what'd you
anger.
do if you and
I'm
me?
not making jokes, by the way. Recipes.
No,
Yeah.
of course, bro. But I'm saying, like, what'd you do if my sister did make me a necklace and like
And then
you
he-
playfully like push me and you rip it off?
I'd be like, bro,
Put
I'ma
it back
fix
on,
this.
put it
No,
back
no,
on.
no, no, stay here. Stay in your house.
I'd be like, bro, you know I have a plane plane to
Well, I
catch.
guess you're not catching it.
and then of course y'all probably have heard this week Vicente Fernandez passed away, bro. But I don't know if you guys have been seeing the comments, well, because a lot of people have been like talking a little like bad about him because they were like
'Cause of some
how
comments
can
he
he be
What?
he was yeah, because I think one I don't know if it's mainly this one. I know one is that he was like they were saying he was homophobic, and the other part was that like he was also very like I guess machista. I don't know about the machista part, but I do know about the like the whole homophobic part. And I guess it was because he did an interview and I think he was gonna get like a liver transplant.
Yeah, I heard
And
about
he
it.
said he was just like, I don't want to. Well, one, he said, I don't want to have someone else's liver. Like, that's weird.
Yeah,
And then I guess eventually he made the comment, like, what if they're gay or something? Like, the person who's giving me the liver is gay.
Yeah.
And so then that's when, like, the whole thing came out.
He said,
Yeah, so La Bamba
Yeah,
Hero,
go.
yeah. So he refused the liver and then from a guy
From
a gay man that passed away. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Well, from the article that I read, it was more of like he was just like, well, I don't know if it's from a gay man, and he said something else. I can't remember what the other part was. But he was just, and that's how they said it. And then eventually his son like came out and they were like, they just misquoted him. He was just like, it's just weird that. To him, he said that it's just weird for me to have another man's liver.
Mhm.
That's what he said, and I guess they interpreted it as like he's being
Oh, like he was
homophobic.
saying, like, "Ooh, another man."
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's what was going on.
Okay.
But I don't
okay.
know. Like I never really like fully saw the interview.
Mhm.
It was just mostly from an article, and then
I heard that the reason why he did that was well, I don't know about the reason, but one of the things he like expanded upon is that he said he couldn't think about another man's liver being in his body while he slept next to his wife. Like, you get what I mean? Like he said that he couldn't go to sleep with his wife knowing that another man's liver was in his body.
What does that mean? Like, what did
I think
what do
he
you
means
by
like
that?
he basically couldn't imagine another man sleeping with his wife.
Oh.
He saw it as like if he has another man's liver, when he goes to sleep with his wife, his wife is sleeping almost with another man.
Oh.
Yeah, and he said that he couldn't do that. I mean, I don't know what that alone, like not forget about what he said about
Uh-huh.
like the homophobic things. If he did say that,
Mhm.
um, that alone, what do you think about that? Do you think that's like an honorable thing, or do you think that's kind of like foolish in the sense of like if you're dying, like just get another liver? How old was he? He was 80,
81, I think.
81?
Yeah.
Yeah. That seems young though. Like I remember we were talking about
Yeah.
That
that
was
a
pretty
little
young. That was
Yeah.
pretty young. Yeah,
But
he
he
was
didn't look
81.
very well though.
Mhm.
He didn't look very well. I don't know. Because I've learned about this in school a little bit. I think you brought it up too about how what isn't it like the masculinity in the Mexican community is really
Mhm.
like
It's very
really.
yeah.
So I don't.
It's
I
very
just
what? It's very what?
it's very like
Like machismo.
It's
yeah,
Very
embedded.
high.
It's embedded in the culture, or what?
not
No, but what? Like, what about it?
Like it's
No, I know, I
very
just
it's what runs basically it's like the number one thing that like like it's always like the man of the house like
That's why it's
um
embedded in the culture,
mhm,
right?
Mhm.
yeah
I was asking because I was like, it makes me think of that of like he saw himself as I don't know if what he did was honorable by saying that, but I can imagine that he thought of it as very honorable. He was like, no,
Mm.
I'm not gonna like if I'm sick, then let me be sick, and I won't have another man's like body in mind, because I want to remain faithful to my wife, and I want my wife to be faithful to me.
Yeah,
Mm.
I guess it. Yeah.
So like when you go into his mindset, I'm sure what he said in there, he thought it was very honorable,
Mm.
and he basically knew from that point on that he was gonna die.
mhm,
I don't know Vicente Fernandez like that. I told my sister that when he died, I was like, damn, that sucks. But I obviously listened to his music, but I wasn't a mega fan,
yeah
so I didn't feel the right to kind of give my piece
mhm,
because I was like, I don't know anything about him.
Mhm.
I don't know everything, and I had heard about the homophobia thing.
Mhm.
yeah
But like you said, if it's misquoted, then it's misquoted. That's why I didn't want to say anything about it
Yeah.
because I was like, I mean, I could be wrong,
Yeah.
right? Because the worst thing I think for me is that when a person dies, to talk shit about them
yeah
Mhm.
because one, they're not around to defend themselves, and two, it's so easy for somebody to say a rumor about somebody who's
Yeah.
dead, and for me to not fact check it and be
Mhm.
like, oh, for real, damn, that guy sucked, you know?
yeah
Mhm.
And I don't want to do that unless like that guy's around. And I know I get it. Some people are evil, and some people when they die, they don't deserve any type of respect, right?
yeah
But Vicente Fernandez, his music really like it it impacted a lot of people.
mhm,
I'd say like for generations, he impacted a lot of people. And obviously you've probably seen that video of his son
Bro,
singing
I was gonna
singing
bring it
a
up.
Cantre Nos,
And he's like
and
crying.
he's like bawling his eyes out. Like so he was, I guess his father meant a lot to him. He couldn't have been that bad of a person. But like I said, I don't know everything about him.
yeah
But I kind of bring it up just to say like he's someone who is an icon of Mexico. The same way how I think of Canelo as an icon of Mexico, he's one of those like pillars of kind of that culture. And I don't know, man. You gotta. I honor the impact that he had on generations of people.
mhm.
What do you guys think though? I mean, you guys could talk shit about him. Like I
No.
said, I don't know too much about him.
I mean, I don't think I know enough to like. I just don't know, like you. I don't know enough about him to like say what he was as a person. But I agree. Like, I feel like the impact's just like have to respect the impact. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Well, because that was the other thing, right? That it's like, well, because it kind of sucks that, yeah, people knew about it and stuff, but it kind of sucks that it came out a lot more when he passed. Because it's the same thing. Like I feel the same way. Like I get it, but um, it's like he's not here to defend himself anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and it's kind of tragic that there was that on top of him passing, that there was
Yeah.
that being thrown at him. Because I mean, I listen to a lot of like his music. I'm very like, it's called ranchera. Like that's what I guess the genre of it. And I love that music. And I remember seeing him like act and like singing like the shows and all that because mom used to watch him a lot.
Mhm.
So I kind of did grow up on seeing him.
Mm.
And when he passed, it was weird. Like I didn't feel anything from. I remember before I used to think of like, damn, if this guy dies, like I'm gonna go through it. And it happened, and it kind of just like I feel like it didn't affect me as much as I thought it would. Like because I think I feel like at some point I kind of just I didn't listen to him as much anymore.
Well, it's
Um,
weird. I always thought, and I'm sorry if I interrupted you,
Mhm.
if you have more to say, but I just always thought that when he died, because people had always talked about it, that when this guy dies, like it's gonna be huge. Like when
Yeah.
this guy dies, but I feel like it wasn't that huge.
Yeah.
And like,
and that's what
and I
was
didn't know how to
interesting.
feel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know how to feel about it because like obviously all the Mexicans we know were like, oh yeah, I've seen the past, but it wasn't like when like Kobe died. It
Yeah.
wasn't like when like other celebrities have died in the
Mhm.
past. This one, it was more as though he almost transcended. Like he almost just faded off
Mhm.
into the afterlife, and everybody was like, okay, like,
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was because it was on the day of the Virgen, right?
oh
yeah.
It was on the
yeah.
day of the Virgen, so
The picture that I did see though, that
The
one
one?
got me.
Where he's-
The one where he's
what
like,
is it?
me veniste a traer serenata. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, bro, don't do this to me right now. That's the only
Bruh.
one that did get me because like I am very like I love La Virgen. Like I'm her number one fan. But like yeah, like I like for her and like all that. Not like I'm not super religious, but at least La Virgen is like someone that like I grew up a lot on and seeing around a lot.
That's interesting too, because like
and
La Virgen is like based off like the
Our-
indigenous, yeah.
La Virgen doesn't really like exist. La Virgen de Guadalupe, like the one we have, the way she symbolized, like that's our story. Like that doesn't exist anywhere else, really.
Not in the
But
Bible.
It's not in the Bible. Like, she's a whole different person to us. But yeah, like seeing only that picture. That picture was the one that got me because it was like it was La Dia de la Virgen, the day he passed away, and it was like the one. And like for La Virgen, it's always like you celebrate her, you do all this, and she finally got like the the big ranchera guy that was gonna sing her La Mañanitas, like, and that shit got me. I was like, when I saw that picture, I was like, bro, okay, low-key, that one did get me.
No, yeah,
That one did.
me and Brandon were talking about how like if you had to choose one day to pass, he passed on the right day. Like, and maybe that's why me and him, same how we're talking about fate.
Mhm.
We talked about how when the COVID pandemic first started, me and him had gone on like a film set to be PAs, and then that's when like Kobe died.
Yeah.
And like it's interesting that now it feels as though things are kind of like getting better.
Mhm.
And me and Brandon went on a PA set again with the same producer,
Mhm.
and then it so happens to be a big celebrity death too, except it's like in a positive way. Like he died on La Virgen. He was old. He
Mhm.
passed with
it
his
was just
family.
his time.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like I'm not trying to like say it wasn't sad or anything. It's just more like, you know, it
was
felt
his
more.
time. It was
okay,
More, it
like,
was
it
more
was-
like his time to go. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like he was having a bad time, and you don't want anybody.
It
to
wasn't
suffer,
like
you know?
super tragic. Like it was just
Yeah.
like
Kobe. My God, bro. That's
We probably mentioned Kobe like every other episode. It's
Yeah.
still the fact that it still impacts us to this day.
Well, yeah, well, because I mean, it came out of nowhere.
Right?
I feel like that's just how kind of death is. Like
Mhm.
I feel like for at least the way I've seen death a lot, like especially like when we had our dogs, right? Like we had a really really old dog. He was 18 years
Mhm.
old, and I remember, and I took a death and dying class. That's why I know so much about it. But
Really?
it was yeah, I took a death and dying class in college, and I remember she asked us like who in your life has like been super tragic for you. And I was like, for me, I never at the time I never had anyone.
Mhm.
I was like, I had my great grandpa who passed away, but I was like, that hurt me because I saw my dad go through it. Because that was my dad's essential his dad, right? But that was his grandpa. He was our great I think grandpa.
Yeah.
And so like that's why it hurt me. And then eventually like the only deaths I had ever seen in my life were my dogs. And the one big tragic was when we lost Lackey, and
Mhm.
he like we grew up with him. And I told her, I was like, the difference was, and then for my other dog Peluche who passed away, I was like, for Peluche I was traumatized for like a whole year because I saw him die, like I saw
Yeah.
him get
No,
like
yeah.
hit by the car. So that for me was very traumatic. But for Lackey, like when he passed, yeah, I cried, but I wasn't super like traumatized or grieved so much about it. And the way she explained it was that because I already knew he was at an old age, I was already grieving since then. Like I already knew that his time was gonna come. So in my head, I was already prepared that like he's old. He's gonna get to the age where he's gonna
Yeah.
pass. So when he passed, I was okay. Like I was like, okay, like I knew his time was coming.
Yeah.
Like I knew
It was
this
time.
is yeah. So like
It's just
it's
more
like
natural.
yeah.
more
it
natural.
was more natural of
It's
like
the way things are supposed
yeah.
to go, right?
And
Yeah.
I think that's how I guess with I guess Vicente Fernandez. I didn't know him personally, but like I still grew up seeing and like hearing his music, and I feel like that's why it wasn't as tragic, at least for me. And I don't know if it's like for everyone else. And I know with like all of the cheeseman that was going on with him and like all that stuff, maybe also changed it, but. That's how I'm like I feel like with the whole Kobe thing, it just came out of nowhere, and
I
the way
get you. Yeah.
he like passed
Yeah.
and everything.
I guess there's a difference between like
A sudden before you're kind of supposed where you because Kobe like he still had a lot left to give.
yeah.
His daughter went and a bunch of other little girls and parents. Lot it's more
Yeah.
like way before it's supposed to happen. You know what
It's
I mean?
an unnatural way.
It's an
Yeah.
unnatural way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was very like violent and
Yeah.
brutal
Brutal,
and
barbaric,
and just not
everything.
anything you'd ever want. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
but with Vicente, everybody's got to go someday.
Yeah.
And like you imagine it's surrounded by loved ones and
Mhm.
it's peaceful and it seemed a little
It seemed like it
was just a natural and he went on
Yeah.
the day of the Virgen and like I said if there's a
Yeah.
day you got to go that's probably
yeah.
That's the day.
She came in to take his ass. He was like, "Let's go."
She can take
his
it.
ass.
She was
Can't
like,
believe you said
"Let's
that.
go." All right, let's go.
Well,
Well,
but
guys,
oh wait I didn't I forgot I didn't close my segment with
A
kind
quote.
word.
okay,
But
so we're gonna close the
I'll
show
close
with
the
it.
show with it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So it's from the same woman, Jane Goodall. She says, "What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make." That's it. All right, so see you guys.
Spider-Man. We're gonna go see Spider-Man.
Hope you guys enjoy it.
Hope
please.
y'all.
Whatever the next show, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, that shit was ass, bro. All right. See you guys.
We'll see y'all next time.
Have a good Thursday. Happy
Remember-
holidays.
Tune in every single time. Thursdays at 12.
Mhm.
Follow us on IG. Primos Chidos podcast.
Oh, and thank you, Labama 808, for blowing up the chat.
Yeah.
We love our
Shout
fans.
out. Shout out. Hit our DMs. Hit our
Yes.
DMs. We will answer. All right. See y'all next time. Bye.
Okay, YouTube content.
All right, YouTube. So we're gonna go see Spider-Man.
Yeah, we're gonna go see Spider-Man,
Um,
guys.
Okay, I got one. Okay.
I got one.
Out of 10, how good do you think it's gonna be? Like, what are your
Fuck,
expectations of
man.
it?
I'm gonna have a mid expectation. I'm gonna say
I'm having-
6.
And give it 6. What about you?
Yeah.
I'll say. I feel like I'll say an 8.
Me too. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it an 8.
I'm saying 8.
We'll compare when we come back
All
next.
right.
Yeah.
Next time we'll
Next
talk about
week.
it next show. All right. See ya. Bye YouTube. Bye.
You're gonna think